Hey, what's up? My name is Brian Thomas Smith, and I'm an actor currently living in Los Angeles, California.
And how did this whole thing start for you? That's my favorite question to ask everybody to start the
Yeah,
podcast.
I guess everyone has their own origin story.
Yeah.
Mine probably start back when I was in like ninth grade, 10th grade in high school. I, my buddies and I had a video camera, and we would make home movies. We were like obsessed with making movies. Like we would do sleepovers on the weekends, and we would be up all night shooting these movies. They eventually got better. At first, they were pretty bad, um, you know. But then they started getting good, and then like I would have like teachers, they would request a book report or something, and I would ask if I could do a talk show where I interview all the characters from the book, and I would would do a fake talk show, and I was doing movies. And then I did a movie, like a full-on 1 hour movie with a sound mixer and everything. This is like 1993 is crazy. And we were doing this stuff. And so I always wanted to make movies, but I didn't know what's the next step. I'm a kid,
Yeah.
living in St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh shoot.
So
Yeah.
uh, I went to college. I played basketball too, so that was kind of my first love was basketball. But when the season ended my senior year, there was one play left in the spring, and I said I'm going to audition for it, and I got a part. And then they had a big drama banquet, and I won Best Actor of the Year. And I was like, this is crazy. I'm a basketball player, just trying this out. And so I that was when I said maybe I could do this.
Yeah.
But then I went off
Holy
to
cow.
college at Central Missouri State University, and they had a theater program, and I was doing some plays there. But the whole time I'm like, I don't know why I'm still in college. I don't think I'm going to use this degree in film and broadcasting. I mean, maybe, but I need to get out to LA. So I did. Summer of 2000, I packed up my car. I
Oh
knew one
wow, man.
person, and I showed up on his couch in Santa Monica. I lived on the couch for like 6 months. Um, Yeah, so getting out here is the hardest part. I think I tell a lot
Yeah.
of, I've done some classes, virtual classes for my college back in Missouri, and it's hard, it's scary to leave.
Yeah.
But if you have a dream, it's about the journey, and I've always enjoyed the journey. So
Yeah. And I mean
good.
with a journey like that, at least to start out with, you already had, I don't know, it seemed like you had a very dynamic and fulfilling upbringing that you were just, it was fun. You weren't planning to be a star at 8, you know?
No, no, it's just having fun making funny movies with my friends. Yeah.
Yeah. Holy cow, man. And I mean, I have a lot of friends who've made the jump to LA. A lot of them have either come back to Colorado or they've gone elsewhere.
Hmm.
You're in LA, you're couch surfing with a friend,
Yeah.
and you're in the epicenter, right? So, like, did you know
Yeah.
what you were gonna do as far as like
No,
getting
because
an
this is
agent or?
This is the year 2000, and I had no clue. There's no like TikTok video to watch on how to do this. There's no the internet really. I mean, there was no help. I just thought you show up and you get auditions and you go be a movie star. And I showed up, and it took me a long time just to get a job, like to pay my rent. like, like
Seriously?
yeah, oh, you show up to the I was like waiting tables and bartending back in Missouri in college, and I was
Yeah.
like, all right, I'll get a bartending job. Well, there's no bartending jobs available really in LA. They're all full of out of work actors and everyone out here chasing their dreams. And so it was really hard. I got my headshots, and then I was like, all right, I got to get an agent. And it's like, well, I would just mail my Missouri theater resume and my picture out to the abyss to all these places, and no responses. And then I got into acting classes, and that's where I really kind of started learning the business and the craft way more. I mean, acting classes saved me. You're in a network, a community of other actors trying to do the same thing. So you're talking, oh, you got an agent? How'd you get your agent? Hey, do you mind? Could you send my headshot to your agent? Stuff like that. Still didn't work. I mean, I didn't get an agent for 3 years, maybe 3 or 4 years out here,
Oh,
and
wow.
I was just waiting tables, and then I would quit my serving jobs to do full-time background work because I thought if you get your SAG vouchers from doing background work, then you get your 3 vouchers, and then you're eligible to join the union. And then when you're SAG, all these agents would just be like, "Sure, yeah, we'll take you." Um, I got my SAG card through booking a commercial for Burger King that only ran in the UK, but it was a SAG commercial, and I
Yeah.
uh, got it, and I was Taft-Hartleyed into the union. I joined the union, and no one cared. My
No.
resume still didn't have anything on there. I'm doing non-union films. I'm doing student films. I'm, mailing my headshots and resumes
Mm.
with stamps and everything to all these, you know, universities that were doing films. I was just trying to get a reel so I could have like a VHS reel that I could send
Yeah.
to agents. It took a long time to get that going. Um,
It, I
yeah.
mean, you probably went through it as well, but in my experience, at least over here, and a lot of my friends as well, it's like if you do student films or a non-union short film, getting the footage from any one of those projects is like the hardest thing to do.
Yeah. A lot of the times, I would say over half the times, they never finish the job.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
sometimes they finish the job. And then I was like, I don't know if I could use this. Like, this is not even worth putting on a tape or something. This
Yeah.
is bad. But things started getting better and better. And I got a commercial agent, which helped. You didn't have to have much of a resume to have a commercial agent. And I was booking some commercials, which were great. I shot this commercial with Jennifer Aniston for Heineken um,
Okay.
back in 2002, and it was like she got paid $1 million, and it was just me and her in the commercial, and it ran everywhere but the United States. Back then, stars were not doing commercials in the U.S.
Yeah.
Now they don't care. They're like,
Yeah.
"Pay me, I'll do whatever." I mean, it's all celebrities doing commercials now, but
Yeah.
25 years ago, these celebrities, they're not doing commercials. But um, yeah, I was getting some form of financial income that would help me, just keep pursuing this. But my big break came in 2005. So I've been out here 5 years. I had a little tiny manager. I had a commercial agent. I had booked some commercials. I was SAG. I still didn't have like an agent to give me auditions, and it was pilot season. This is when they were casting all these pilots every winter, and there was the 12th Man, which was a half-hour comedy from Dan Fogelman, who later on created This Is Us.
Yeah.
He's the nicest guy, such a talented writer. Anyway, this was his second pilot. His first pilot didn't get picked up the year before or 2 years before, and then they were getting ready to shoot this pilot in March, and they had tested 10 other actors that I later found out, like Joe McHale and a bunch of NBA basketball players, because they wanted
Mhm.
an actor 6'3" or taller to play this
Okay.
bench warmer on the team. And I walked in on a Monday, read for the casting people. They're like, "Can you come back later tonight for the producers?" And director, and I was like, "Sure." So I came back, saw a couple guys from my acting class that work all the time, and I'm like, "Ah, dang it." These guys are gonna get it, man. They're so
Yeah.
much better than me. But I just love basketball, and I love the role, and I understood the assignment. I knew the tone of the show, and it was very dry, and I'm the straight guy. Everyone else around me is the funny people, So I just played it very casual, and the jokes hit, and they brought me back on a Tuesday, and I worked it with the director, and we did the scenes over and over again, and then they said, "You're going to test tomorrow for the studio, 20th Century Fox." And I'm like, "Oh my God." I got my contract, what I was going to make per episode. This is 2005, a
Yeah.
kid that has done nothing. Uh, and I was going to make $20,000 per episode, which is a steal for them because I'm sure the other
Right.
actors that were on the show were making more than that. And you're a series regular, you're making, 30, 40, $50,000 your first year an episode. And then, Big Bang Theory, we'll get there. They were making some serious cheddar those later seasons. But I was like mind blown. I couldn't believe I'm signing my contract. I'm going to get 40K to shoot the pilot, um, and 20K per episode. I'm going to be the star of the show. And I went in, and the casting were like, they're not going to laugh. They don't laugh. Don't think about, how it's going. Just stay in the scene. And I did, and they were laughing the whole time. And then Thursday, I put myself on. I came back in, and they put me on tape with a couple of the other actors that were already cast. And then Friday, I showed up at 20th Century Fox to test for the network, and I thought I was going to have to do the scene. And I walked into the room, and everyone started clapping, and they were like, "You're our 12th man, congratulations!" And I booked it. And then I shot this pilot that was really funny. And
Yeah.
while I was shooting it, all these agents were, showing up to set that were involved in it over at William Morris. And then I ended up signing. I went to dinners with the biggest agencies around, everyone trying to court me. Before, no one was even opening up my letters. I couldn't get anything. And now I got to choose my agency, and now I'm in the game. And I'm 27 years old, and I'm like, let's go. They didn't pick up the pilot.
Hmm.
Um, but that I would say was so big because it got me an agent, and I was in the game. I'm in the big
Yeah.
leagues now. I'm at least auditioning for stuff that you would see on television. And I wasn't good at auditioning. I had no
Really?
experience. Yeah, I had no experience. I put a lot of pressure on myself. So I'd show up to these auditions, and man, I don't, they were not good. I mean, I remember sometimes leaving the audition like crying in my car and was like, what was that? I forgot my lines. I was memorized, and I got in the
Man.
room, and then I didn't know my lines because my nerves took over, and I had to start over. And I was just like, it's so crazy because auditioning and acting are so different. You got to get rid of this audition like mindset. You have the job, get in there and just
Yeah.
play and be yourself and just use the lines. And I've years and years now, decades of auditioning, and I find myself a really good auditioner now. But when I started out, I didn't know anything, and I was just, booked the pilot, got a huge agent, fire thrown into the fire, and I was auditioning for everything. And I was like, I wasn't doing it. And for 3 years I was with them, and then they were finally like, we're about to join another agency endeavor. We're about to become one. We got to do some roster trimming, and best of luck. And I was like, yeah, I get it. I didn't make you guys any money.
At least you
But
got it though. Like you were in
yeah,
that,
oh,
you weren't delusional
yeah,
about the reality of it. I do want to go back to that, just being thrown into that fire and not
yeah,
having, those honed tools, that honed skill set.
yeah,
What did you end up finding worked for you pre or post audition? Because we've all been there when you're showing up, you're in a, say you're going out for like a series regular and you're in a polished button up, and then the second they turn the camera on, you realize you've sweat through every
yeah.
fiber of that shirt. Like what is your way of sort of handling auditions now?
I think, what happens is that you just do, it's like kind of with everything, if you do it more, it just gets easier. And I took the pressure off myself. It was less pressure, less stress, less, oh my God, this is going to change my life if I book this role. Oh my God, oh, I can book this role. This is so for me. I'm going to book this role. I got to book this role. Oh my God, I can see myself on set. I'm going to book this role. And it's all about getting the job, and all that pressure. For some reason, that just started going away. Whether it was just like on purpose, like I was really focused on not thinking of those thoughts, or the thoughts just kind of left my head because I was really into the lines on the page and how can I make these words, how can I use these words to be this character, to do the work. And it was about what's on the page. It wasn't about the outcome. It was I just had more fun auditioning. Um, And yeah, the nerves, I would get into the room, and I would see all these people on these couches, and the nerves would kick in, and it felt like I did a good audition, which doesn't get you the job. Oh, that's a great audition. Like, oh, my lines were memorized. I didn't mess up. But to get in there and just really be the part, you got to throw away the lines. You got to just what's your take on this character?
Yeah.
And really just do less and care less, and you work more. It's crazy.
It's funny how that happens. Like reaching that
Yeah.
point of instead of, oh, I got to nail this audition, it's, oh, cool. I guess I'll try to do that. Like, well, I guess in the days of self tapes now, I guess I'll do that tomorrow afternoon and send it. There's
Yeah,
no,
self-tapes now. So we're in a self-tape business now, which
yeah,
is I find a lot easier because I could do as many takes as I want. I find myself though less prepared to shoot the scene. So I'm doing it with my wife, and it's like, can you read these lines? We're gonna set it up. And then I'm like, "Ugh, I got to get these lines better. I don't know what I'm saying. And I'm like, if I was going to go into a room with other people, the casting, I would be so prepared. I would be ready to go. But sometimes that works. You don't have to be perfect in these auditions, but you got to be clean. You got to be specific. You got to know what you're doing and what you're saying. And I go in for a lot of comedy, so I get to play and just do some silly stuff, and
yeah,
timing and all that stuff, and that's just natural. But um, yeah, self tapes are I find uh, you get I don't know because you also don't get that human connection. Like I used to go into a
yeah,
room and the casting director would talk to me for 10 minutes and we would shoot the shit and the producers would get to know me a little bit and they'd be like then I'd do it and then we
yeah,
would get a note and we'd do it again and they were laughing while I'm doing it and I'm like they loved me. And whether I got the part maybe I got maybe there's a role later down the road. Only one person gets the job. You could have been
yeah,
great. Someone else gets it. You know, you feel like, oh, well, second, third, fourth place. I was one of their choices. I had a pin in me. I didn't get it. You feel like, well, I didn't make any money and I lost, but you won fans. And these casting
oh
people
yeah,
are still bringing me in for other parts because they know I'm going to deliver every time they ask me to audition because I'm prepared and ready to go. But now you get these self tapes and you're submitting these, you get no feedback.
nope,
You don't even know if they're watched. Casting's watching. Casting gets 50 of these tapes. They're going to show the director and the producers 12, the top 10, maybe five choices. Here's what we liked.
absolutely,
And then you're like, we weren't even in the room. But it's there's pros and cons with the new style of the business.
yeah, yeah. It's you have to create that organic connection through probably like 6 months worth of submissions, and then
Yeah.
you hear, oh hey, they liked what you did in January. Like it's November. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, sure. I'll do it again.
Yeah, my feedback is like if I get an audition from that same casting company, then it's like, okay, so they liked what I did this last time. Okay,
Yeah.
so but if you don't get that feedback, unless it's
No.
like they're not going to bring you back in if you did not have a great audition or self tape, even though maybe you weren't right for the part or perfect. There was someone else,
Yeah.
but uh, yeah, it's just
Yeah.
we live in a world where we want feedback and you don't get it right now.
No. No.
No.
You get it in I mean, catching you on recently Bad Monkey and Shrinking within, the span of like
Yeah,
2 weeks. I was super psyched for you. Like
thanks.
because it just kind of proved that whole like
It
yeah,
really
they
is. You get in these camps of
yeah.
these people, and you see, I mean, we all see it that with superstars, they all
Mhm.
work with the same people because take they make their life easier and work. And Bill Lawrence, who did Bad Monkey, also does Shrinking, and he just knew like he that was an offer. I didn't even audition for that role.
Oh no
Uh,
way.
yeah, it was like, hey, you're funny. You were great on Bad Monkey. Um, I got a little gig for you on Shrinking if you're available. And it's like, yeah, that's how it works. And with Chuck Lorre, I did so many recurring spots on as Zach on The Big Bang Theory that when United States of Al, which was another CBS Chuck Lorre show, they needed someone to come in and play the boyfriend to, you know, keep the storyline going of this couple not getting back together. And they offered me that part. I didn't audition.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
like let's just do these offer onlys. But
Yeah.
it was the 9 years of working on Big Bang Theory, showing up,
Mhm.
doing good work getting big laughs in front of a live audience, and then when this role came up, Maria and Dave, who were writers who created the show with Chuck, were like, let's bring in Brian Thomas Smith for this, and I just got my agents just called and said, hey, you've been offered this recurring role. So you do good work, you don't know later on what's going to happen, but you're building fans, and they come
Yeah.
back. And with
Yeah.
the Bill Lawrence relationship, I've been he plays basketball and I play basketball, and he does this like Tuesday night basketball night with a bunch of other actors. Not everybody's in the business, but everyone's close to the business. A lot of my friends are in the game. We show up Tuesday nights and we play hoops and for like 2 hours, and no one really talks business or anything. We're just out there because we love basketball, and we're a bunch of older guys now that used to be way better when we were younger, but we love to get out there and play. And it's one of my favorite nights. It's like my favorite night of the week to get out there. And I've been in the game for 15 years playing. And Bill's done lots of shows, but he's never really had the right role for me. And Bad Monkey came along. It was like, dude, I've been trying to get you in some of my stuff, and I got a good part for you in this. So that's another part of the business is just you know being around people creating stuff, and I don't know, not being a dick, being a
Oh
nice guy,
yeah. Rule number
being a
one,
nice
right?
guy, and you know, that it goes a long way in this business, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, there's a lot of really talented folks who live here in Denver, and like I said, like we travel, to LA, New Mexico, wherever we can to do that work. But all of
yeah,
us now we're, just getting together. Hey, let's do a TV show in Denver. Like let's just do it.
yeah,
It's worth it. And I love the fact that you're able to play basketball with, Bill and a bunch of your friends. No one's
yeah,
talking shop. It's just to have fun and genuinely connect with people. Like,
yeah.
was that something you, not specifically the basketball group itself, but living in LA for that long, had you found some really great connections as far as friends go, or was it sort of hard to find folks that you could genuinely connect with?
Yeah, it's the first 2 years were pretty lonely out here,
Oh
and I
man.
feel like that's when a lot of people move back home. They give it 2 years. They give it 2 years, and they're like, "Man, I don't know anyone out here. It's so lonely. You're in your car driving around, and you're not really talking to people." Um, I was getting serving jobs at these restaurants, and those people were kind of my friends, and
Yeah.
some of them were actors. And then I took some acting classes, and I made some friends there. Then I started like this sketch comedy group with a bunch of funny friends that were moved out here, and we were called the Exploding Pajamas. This was like 2004, and we were doing our sketch comedy out of these little tiny 50 to 100 seat theaters, and we were packing the house I mean, we were having so much fun with these sketches, and every show was, um, if you didn't get there 30 minutes before, you didn't get in. And we weren't like selling tickets online or anything. It was you show up, get your ticket, but we had so much fun. One of the Exploding Pajama members went on and won an Oscar for a documentary. Dan Lindsay, he did the documentary Undefeated, which we were all like, "This is crazy! Just he's up there winning an Oscar." He does lots of cool documentaries now, but he was on the couch writing jokes with all of us. We're all still friends. A couple other people went on and did some really cool stuff, but it was just like, yeah, let's be creative. We're funny. Let's
Yeah.
do this. And this was like before YouTube videos, and like the stuff we were doing would have been viral videos if we were just creating content, but we were doing it in a theater for 50 people,
Yeah.
everyone saw it. It would have been
I was
so
just
great.
about to ask you if there's any documentation of that show.
So every show we started off with a video, and of course
Okay.
we had Dan Lindsay, future Oscar winner, editing it and shooting it, and so they were insanely funny intro videos for our shows, but no one saw it unless you were in a theater on a projector.
Yeah.
Um, but those were good times, man.
Yeah.
It was the grind, and that's what I love about this business. And also, I mean, I guess it comes down to any business. If you really love the journey,
Mhm.
if it if it doesn't feel like it's so hard, I mean, it does feel hard obviously, because you work a lot and you work hard and you don't get a lot of rewards. But if you love the journey, if you love to doing a self tape, if you're excited to go to this commercial callback,
Yeah.
and hopefully you get it because when you're going to book it, it's going to, make some money and you're on set. And it's just like, I've been doing this for 25 years and I still get excited for a commercial callback. I mean, not like excited, like, oh, I can't wait to book this, but like, sweet, I got a callback. Like,
Yeah.
the grind has never pushed me out,
That's
a
cool.
lot of actor friends, they're like, I can't do this anymore. And now they're, doing other things, but hopefully they're happy doing those other things. It's not for everybody. Um,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
especially, I mean, where you are now, was there any thought about shifting things when you started to, build your family and you were looking for some more stability, or what
Yeah,
was going on during that time?
man, maybe because I don't have a plan B is like, like during the pandemic, I created a online a virtual bingo party night thing, and we started off doing birthday parties. Next thing you know, we're doing big corporate gigs, and we're charging a lot of money. And me and like a couple of my friends ran free space bingo for 3 years. Like pandemic, we started. And then it continued, and then we realized, man, we're bringing a lot of these offices that are like across the country that don't get together for holiday parties. We're providing them an hour of fun. They get to see each other on the screen and meet each other virtually, and we're like the through line with some games that we play with them. And we were doing this for like, I mean, we're not doing anymore, thank God. People are out, doing stuff, but uh, we made a lot of money doing that. We pivoted. We did some things. The business
Yeah.
was shut down pretty much, and here I am doing 4 shows a night, virtual bingo. Yeah. So yeah, there's other side hustles that you can do. I think about doing more social media stuff. There's
Yeah.
some influencers out there that I see. Some of them I've worked with, and now they're full-time influencers, and they have $4 million mansions in the hills, and I'm like, this is crazy. But it's there. I mean, you have to, but again, with something like that, you would have to full time it. It's
Yeah,
like you can't just
absolutely.
like, I kind of want to be an actor. That's not going to happen. Or
Mm.
I kind of want to be a social influencer and make a ton of money and making videos, but you can't just kind of want to do it. You got to be all in. This is what I'm doing.
Yep.
So with acting, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Um, it's just there's a lot of time where you're not acting.
Yeah, or you're thinking, oh, what, real estate could be fun,
Yeah, that's what a lot of people got into. Yeah.
Well, I mean, outside of your acting career, of course, your life has to be full, right? You can't just always think about that. And, you have your family and you have your friends, but what do you like to do outside of this that sort of keeps you creatively satiated or even just personally satiated? Like what's a good way for you to I don't know, spend a day
Yeah,
off?
that's a great question. I mean, I love to go like on these runs. I like to go like jog down by the water, the beach. I like
Yeah.
live a mile and a half away from the beach, and that really clears my head. I love, I play basketball on Tuesday nights, which is just like, I mean, physically, mentally rewarding, just to get out there and sweat and play. I mean, right now, to be honest, we are so busy with these kids. I am like full-time dad, like crushing dad life though, really loving it. But like we have a newborn, so my wife is with her a lot,
Yeah.
and I got these two kids that need attention. And so I'm just like taking them to the park and I'm playing with them. And it's like, and everyone says, oh, they grow up so fast. These are the years. And I'm like, wow, I'm here with these kids. Like I don't think I could be around them more. I'm like so with I'm just with them all the time, bath
Yeah.
time at night, getting up with them in the morning, making breakfast. Like I'm putting in the time with these kids, and this time is not, they're going to be big kids in school, and I'm not going to have these years back. Um, Feels weird because we're starting over with a new one now. So these young years are still very much in play.
Yeah.
Um, but it's incredible. And I've wanted to be a dad for a long time. And I'm an old dad. I'm 47 years old, like having a newborn. My
No
college
way.
buddies are my college buddies have kids that are in college. Most of them, you know?
That's, but it's cool though, because I mean, one, you don't look 47, and two, like I don't know, there has to be something like just energetic about those kiddos being with you, especially at this point in your life that you're just absorbing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you have kids in your 20s. I don't know how my friends did this or anybody does. I mean, I mean, my parents did it. They just figured it out. But man, what I know from 20s to 40s is a big jump and just everything. But uh, yeah, these kids are definitely keeping me young.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't mind. I'm glad I waited. I'm glad I waited. I was
Yeah.
super busy in 20s, 30s, didn't find the right person to have kids with and get married. And I'm glad I waited to find my person, which was huge. Just to have that support with my career, my family, myself, is amazing. So I feel very blessed that I got, this solid family around me, and I'm doing what I love. It's crazy. I'm like, how am I? I'm just doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know
That's
when my next job is, which is
right.
insane, but I know that this year I will get enough jobs. I just every year it's like I don't know how I did it, but I did. I got a booked a Toyota commercial. I did the State Farm commercial. I went out to New Mexico to work on this Nickelodeon show. Like you just find jobs
Yeah.
and you grind and you make fans and you work on one show, they're doing another show later. Someone from that show loved what you did. We're going to bring you in for this. It just snowballs and
Yeah.
you know. So
I mean, this is a perfect time to ask this question too, especially given that we're just coming out of the holidays and there's no longer a pilot season, really. It's just sort of waiting to see what happens. I want to see if you
yeah.
have any sort of post-holiday advice for other creatives out there, as far as maybe something that you have held on to sort of keep you going during those down times.
Yeah. Like Januaries are always really slow, especially even when pilot season, because it didn't really kick off until like end of January, beginning of February. But now, like you said, there's no pilot season. These networks might do a few, but they're already like guaranteed to get picked up.
Mhm.
They have people involved. They've already offered out a lot of roles, so there's not a lot of auditions. Yes, I feel like you got to get some hobbies, whether that's a pickleball or you know a guitar or something to keep you just mentally healthy. Yeah,
Yeah.
my goal this year is I want to get back into fitness. I really want to start a daily fitness routine. I slip in and out of that. It's really hard when you have these youngsters that take your time, but there's time
Yeah.
I could definitely do that. Writing's also fun. I just finished writing a movie with my wife's sister's boyfriend. So we have somebody that's really in charge, like championing this. They have me attached to play it. They sent me the script. I said, I like this idea, but the script's not good. Can I bring in a friend to rewrite this? And she like paid my friend to rewrite it, and we just finished it. We got it under the page count that they wanted, and now it's like, all right, step two, here's your script. You
Yeah.
know, let's get this made. And it was very fun and fulfilling to have this creative process. My friend did the key punching, but I sat on the couch and worked a bunch of the scenes and the story out with him, and it's really good. It would be a huge vehicle for me. Um, and it's the family dramedy, road trip with the
Oh,
dad and the
cool.
son. And yeah, it's great. I would have to find this awesome actor to play the dad, and then we go get the money and get this thing made. But stuff like that, staying busy,
Yeah.
doing r- you know, if you can write, if you know someone that can write, collaborating. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's definitely when it's slow, it's tough. It's crazy how a job or an audition or, you know, can really influence your like
Or like
self-esteem. It's like,
well-being.
yeah, geez. Like life is good. Like it's fine. It's like
Yeah.
I need an audition. And it's like, what's going on? And but it's a roller coaster. It's if you got to have thick skin in this business.
Yep. Yep.
And I do believe in manifesting, like I do when I go on these runs, I clear my head and I'm just like picturing myself on set and I'm like going over these people that I'm working with and like, is it Chuck Lorre and what's the show going to be? And I'm on it, and it's like season 3 and I'm a series regular. Like I know I will be a series regular on a TV show. I've known this for a long time. I feel it. I've been super, super close, whether it's through a recurring that becomes a series regular or just starting from the beginning as a series regular. That is what I want. And I put it out there in the universe a lot. And I'd still believe it. And been out here a long time. And it's just, I don't know what it's going to look like, but I feel it. And I can't wait.
Dude, I'm glad you
I'm glad
touched
you
on
touched
that.
on that.
I've
I
been journaling for the last 5 years, and that's ultimately when my career took that jump.
Yeah.
And
And
yeah,
writing it out does something to your brain too, and
yeah,
to the vibrations of manifesting. Like if you write it out, man, it's powerful. So
yeah.
keep that up, man. That's awesome.
You know what? I knowing that you do it, I don't feel nearly
Yeah.
as weird when I do it, you
No, yeah, it's very powerful.
know?
Um, it's if you have a plan and you can speak it and write it, it happens because that's where
Yeah.
your energy goes.
It's just fulfilling it.
Yeah.
And I know I'm running some let's see, yeah, a couple minutes short on time here, but I do want to ask you, along with your advice that you gave our listeners, if there's anything you want me to, give a shout out to or promote with this episode. I'm not sure if you have or if you're able to say, what the script is that you are developing right now, or if there's a charity you really believe in, or just something that I can kind of put in the notes here. I want to see if there's anything
Yeah.
you wanted to mention.
I mean, yeah. Well, I just, you check out Bad Monkey if you haven't seen that. I got to do 3 episodes with Vince Vaughn, who is my hero. Not my hero, but like that's a little extreme. He is an actor. He is an actor that I've always thought I could do that. I love his acting. He's very talented and funny, and I can see myself doing all the roles that he does. And I've always looked up to him as an actor so much that when I was a senior in college, my my I took an advanced acting class and we had to do a 3-minute monologue for the final, and everyone's doing Shakespeare and all this awesome stuff, playwrights, and I transcribed Swingers from a VHS tape where Vince Vaughn is telling John Favreau how money he is. He's so money, baby. You don't even know it. And I did that in front of everybody. Everyone was like, "What was that?" It was. I think it went well. I have no clue. I think I really tried to be Vince Vaughn in it and not myself because I didn't know how to act back then. Um, but I did it. And then 22 years later, I'm in Miami working with Vince Vaughn, for 3 episodes, and it was just a dream come true. Um, but yeah, then I'm on Shrinking season 2, episode
Yeah.
11, which was a fun. Jason Segel's another guy that I'm like, I love his style. These actors that just use themselves. They don't do much. They're just
Yeah.
kind of themselves in different situations, and people love it. I feel like that's kind of the way I do things. Um, but yeah, follow me on TikTok and follow me on Instagram at Brian underscore Thomas underscore Smith. I'm going to start pumping out some videos. I really want to be funny on social media, and I have these amazing kids, and I'm just going to start sharing stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start sharing. I don't care. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
So
It's
that's kind of
time
what
to
I'm doing.
influence.
Yeah, I'm going to influence. I'm going to come up with some fun stuff. I do these reviews and stuff over products I get that I think
Oh,
would be
sweet.
funny. Um, and then who knows what 2025 is going to bring, but I feel it's going to be a big year.
It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one for sure.
Yeah.
No, man, I want to say again, like I appreciate your time, especially as being a fan of your work. Like I've been wanting to chat with you about your career since I started this show almost
Oh, that's awesome.
5 years
Thank you.
ago.
Yeah.
But this was a blast, man. I know I'm out of time. I don't want to take too much more of your time for your day, but we have one more thing to do before we end this recording, and that's an awkward goodbye. So
Okay.
just give us your best verbal, visual, awkward goodbye, and I'll stop the recording from there. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right.
Uh, so yeah, this was all right, man. Good stuff. So just keep on trucking. I'll truck too. Just getting a truck together. Maybe not together, but oh, is this thing still on? We okay. Be good, my buddy.